Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss the solution of the problem, does array represent heap? So let us look at the problem statement. The problem statement says that we are given an array ARR of size n. The task is to check if the given array can be level order representation of a max heap. So we just have to see whether the array represents a max heap. Okay, so for instance in this particular case this particular array can be represented as this if we represent in the form of heap, and since the root is always greater than the left and right nodes, that is why this is a max heap. So for instance here, if you see 90 is greater than 15 and 10, 15 is greater than 7 and 12, 10 is greater than 2, so this array can be represented in the form of max heap. So that is why we are returning true for this particular case. Whereas if you see in this particular case, 9 is not the greatest among 15 and 10. So 9 is less than its children, because of which we are returning 0 in this case. So that's about the problem statement, folks. Now let us look at the solution for this problem. So in order to understand the solution of this problem, let us take the example. So n is equals to 6. Elements of ARR is something like this. So it has 90, 15, 10, 7, 12 and 2. And if you represent it in the form of tree, then it is something like 90, 15, 10, 7, 12 and 2. So let us write down the indexes. So this is 0th index, 1st index, 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. If my root index is I, then the left child will be at index, which index? Left child index will be 2i plus 1, right? If you see this example as well, 90 is the root, so the first child is at 15. So 15 is what? 2i plus 1. 2 times 0 plus 1 is 1. Whereas 10 is, the right child is 2i plus 2. Let me just write down the right child as well. So the right child index is 2i plus 2. So if you see 2i plus 2, this is 10, right? Similarly for 15, 15th is at index 1. So its left child exists at index 2i plus 1. So that is at index number 3, which is 7. And the right is at index number 4, which is 12. So in this particular case, what we need to do is the root should be the maximum, right? For an array to be a max heap, root should be greater than its left and right child. Root should be greater than its left and right child. So what we are going to do is, well, we will assume that we are at index I. So we are at ith index. If 2i plus 1th index, so the element at 2i plus 1th, let me just write it down, 2i plus 1th is greater than the root, then in that particular case we know that this cannot form the max heap because this violates this particular condition. All right, so this cannot form a max heap. So in this particular case we can return false. Similarly, so this is for left child, right? This is for left child. Similarly, if the right child, which is at this index, so right child is greater than its root, then also we can return false. So these two condition is what we have to check for all the elements of the tree, and if any of these two conditions get satisfied, we will return false from there itself. Otherwise, if these two conditions does not hold for for all the elements of the array, then in such cases we are going to return true. So that's about the explanation, folks. Now let's go back to our coding section and see how we have coded it. So we are doing the same thing. We are starting from the 0th index and we are going all the way till I is less than n, and we are incrementing I plus 1 in each iteration. Now if the left child is greater than the root, then we return false. Similarly, if the right child is greater than the root, we return false. If these two conditions never holds, then in that particular case we are returning true. So that's about the code, folks. Now let us submit our solution. So our solution got accepted. That's about from this video, folks. In case if you have any question or comment regarding this video, please feel free to use the comment section and I will try to address them. Thank you.